The show began as usual. Bright studio lights, audience applause, and energetic music as Kelly Clarkson took the stage and greeted the crowd. Everyone expected a friendly chat with her guest, but tension filled the air the moment Keith Urban appeared. His smile didn't reach his eyes, and every subtle gesture betrayed a simmering irritation. Kelly started asking questions about his recent projects and tours. And although his initial responses were calm and measured, the conversation gradually took a sharper edge. Her tone became slightly provocative, probing into recent rumors surrounding his personal life. The audience sensed it immediately. Some exchanged nervous glances. Others forced small laughs, while cameras captured every subtle reaction of the artist. Keith tried to joke, but the smile was strained, the voice slightly cold. Each question, intended to spark engagement, instead seemed to push him closer to his breaking point. And it was evident to everyone in the studio that his patience was running thin. At one point, Kelly brought up a topic about Keith's recent relationship breakup, phrasing it so directly that he nearly stammered. He drew a deep breath, attempting to maintain composure, but the tension in his shoulders and hands revealed his true feelings. The audience felt the awkwardness. The studio seemed to hush, as if everyone were holding their breath, anticipating what might happen next. Kelly noticed the pause and smiled slyly, pressing her point further. This became the tipping point. Keith stepped back slightly, collecting himself, but his jaw tightened, and there was a visible flicker of frustration in his eyes. The viewers watching at home could sense that this conversation had crossed an invisible line in the energy. In the studio shifted from lighthearted to tense, thick with unease. The audience's applause faltered, leaving a brief but noticeable silence, signaling the gravity of the confrontation about to unfold. Kelly, sensing the tension, pressed further on Keith's personal decisions, mixing humor with pointed commentary that many perceived as slightly invasive. Keith Urban shifted uncomfortably in his seat, glancing toward the crew as if considering an escape route. He attempted a laugh, but it was hollow, failing to mask his irritation. The cameras caught every subtle movement, the slight clenching of his fists, the rigid posture, the cold edge in his tone when he replied. The audience murmured, some leaning forward, captivated by the escalating drama. The questions became sharper, bordering on confrontational, and it was clear that Keith's patience was eroding. Every word he spoke was carefully measured, but the mounting tension made it increasingly difficult to maintain the calm facade. Kelly seemed to notice his discomfort, but continued pressing, fully aware of the unfolding live television spectacle. As the conversation escalated, Keith tried to redirect the dialogue toward his music. But Kelly kept returning to the personal topics, questioning choices and decisions that had become tabloid fodder. Keith's responses grew shorter, clipped, each word carrying an undertone of frustration. The audience sensed a pivotal moment approaching. The atmosphere was heavy, every heartbeat of silence amplified by the bright studio lights. Keith's eyes darted toward the exit briefly, a telltale sign of his brewing decision. Kelly, sensing the building tension, smiled, leaning slightly forward as if to coax him further. The live cameras captured it all, the tightening jaw, the flicker of a scowl, the sudden rigidity in posture. It was clear to viewers in studio, personnel alike, that this was no ordinary interview. The stage was now set for a confrontation that no one would forget. Then came the final straw. Kelly made a pointed remark about Keith's handling of recent media controversies, phrased in a way that left little room for evasion. Keith Urban's face hardened, and the faint flicker of a controlled smile vanished completely. The audience gasped softly, sensing the imminent eruption. Keith leaned forward, voice low but firm, signaling that he had reached his limit. Without a word, he stood abruptly, the chair scraping lightly against the studio floor, startling everyone. Blinked in surprise, momentarily thrown off balance by his sudden movement. Cameras pivoted quickly to follow him as he began walking toward the exit, his expression a mixture of frustration and disbelief. The studio audience remained stunned, a mixture of murmurs and shocked gasps filling the otherwise silent room. It was a live television moment that no one anticipated. A dramatic climax that would dominate social media discussions for hours. Keith's departure was swift but deliberate. Every step echoed with tension as he passed crew members and cameras. Kelly, still seated, looked momentarily speechless, processing what had just transpired. The live audience erupted into murmurs, a mix of shock and bewilderment. While social media platforms began lighting up in real time, viewers immediately sensed that this wasn't a scripted walkout, but a genuine response to escalating tension. The production team quickly tried to regain control, but the air remained thick with unease. Keith's calm yet decisive exit left a lasting impression. It was a statement that words alone couldn't convey. Even the crew seemed frozen for a moment, unsure whether to continue with the segment or pause. As the live broadcast captured the raw aftermath of a highly charged confrontation. Back in the studio, Kelly attempted to regain composure, redirecting the conversation to lighter topics. But the weight of Keith's walkout lingered. Audience members exchanged uneasy glances, many whispering about the dramatic exit they had just witnessed. The energy in the studio had shifted completely from anticipation to shock, to a lingering tension that refused to dissipate. Even as music played softly in the background, it couldn't mask the imprint of the live confrontation. Cameras occasionally cut to empty spots on stage, a reminder that a major event had just unfolded. Kelly's smile, once bright and inviting, now carried a forced quality, as if trying to fill a void left by the abrupt departure. The conversation that followed felt subdued, with every word measured against the memory of the clash that had just rocked the studio. Keith Urban's walkout immediately became trending news. With clips circulating across social media platforms and commentary channels dissecting every moment, fans debated the cause of his frustration, speculating on whether Kelly had crossed an invisible line. Media outlets replayed key moments, highlighting his controlled demeanor, the subtle yet clear signs of rising tension, and the ultimate decision to leave the stage. Public opinion was divided. Some praised Keith for maintaining his composure until his limits were reached, while others criticized the abruptness of the exit. Hashtags referencing the incident trended worldwide as the live television confrontation became a talking point for both entertainment news and casual viewers. It was an example of how live broadcasts can suddenly transform into headline-making events, capturing emotions raw and unfiltered. Interviews conducted later with crew members and staff revealed that tensions had been building for days, with Keith reportedly uneasy about certain topics. Kelly, professional and experienced, had attempted to push boundaries for engaging content. But the combination of sharp questioning and personal remarks had pushed Keith past his comfort zone. Both parties, however, maintained professionalism in public statements, emphasizing that the live broadcast had been intense but not personal, beyond the studio context. Analysts highlighted the delicate balance required in live interviews, noting that even minor provocations could trigger dramatic outcomes. Keith's decision to exit, they argued, was a firm boundary-setting act, sending a message about personal limits while also creating an unforgettable television moment. By the end of the day, the episode had already been replayed multiple times online, generating discussion, memes, and opinion videos dissecting every facial expression and word. Fans of both Keith Urban and Kelly Clarkson engaged in passionate debates, analyzing the dynamics between interviewer and guest. Social media buzzed with commentary ranging from admiration for Keith's courage to speculation about the impact on his public image. The incident became a case study in live television unpredictability, demonstrating how even seasoned performers can experience moments of intense vulnerability under pressure. For viewers and industry professionals alike, the confrontation served as a reminder that live TV is an arena where composure, patience, and timing are constantly tested in, where a single moment can become iconic overnight.